At Gohan's house, Videl and Pan were in the kitchen. Pan was helping her mother clean up after supper, and Gohan was in his office, buried in work. He'd eaten at his desk again, which Videl didn't mind. She was proud of him. But she still wished he'd step away and join them more often. Suddenly, out of nowhere, it hit. A dense surge of dark ki. Gohan jolted upright, vanishing with a blinding burst of speed. He arrived at the source, but the energy was already gone. He shut his eyes and focused, trying to find any residue. Seconds later, it was back, stronger. A sphere of orange and violet energy shot from the tree line. Before he could counter, a figure, around 7 feet tall, closed the distance. Fast. Too fast. The attacks came at strange, elastic angles. Wait, this energy. It can't be. He couldn't see clearly in the dark, not at this speed. The energy felt familiar, but off, twisted. Like something he hadn't sensed since Dabura, or Boo. They traded a few sharp blows, then the figure vanished again. Gohan paused, eyes closed, feeling. A branch shifted behind him. He turned and there it was, a massive orange face, inches away. Piccolo opened his mouth and fired. The beam hit head-on, light and force swallowed everything. When the dust cleared, Gohan stood transformed into his beast form. "You haven't kept up with your training," Piccolo said. "Piccolo, your energy, it's different. Heavy. Dark," Gohan replied. "You were buried in your work. And with all the nannies and private tutors, Pan didn't seem to need me much either." "Of course we need you, Piccolo," Gohan cut in, powering down. Piccolo, clearly flattered, tried not to show it. "Right. Well, after unlocking this new form, I started digging into my heritage. Dende told me some Namekians had migrated back to their ancestral home, deep in the Demon Realm. I figured I'd spend a little time there." "The Demon Realm?" Gohan blinked, confused. "Right. We never told you about that." Piccolo took some time to explain the time Goku, Vegeta himself, Shin, and the others were turned into children and ended up in the Demon Realm, facing the Tamagami, Do, and Goma. Gohan had no memory of anyone talking about it, but then a faint recollection surfaced, being hunched over paperwork when everything suddenly shifted. One moment he was small, the next grown. No memory of shrinking. He looked around, puzzled. Had the room gotten smaller? Weird, Gohan had muttered at the time, then went right back to work. Now he looked at Piccolo, thoughtful. "I remember Supreme Kai mentioning something about the Demon Realm back when we fought Dabura, but I didn't know you guys actually went there." Piccolo nodded. "We did. Turns out we've got history there. The Namekians, and even Shin, along with his people, originated in the Demon Realm." Gohan blinked. "Wait, the Supreme Kai has people?" Piccolo glanced at him. "They're called Glind. I'm not surprised you never heard of them. They're all but extinct. But it's where they came from. Same with us." He folded his arms. "Some Namekians from our universe have migrated back, returning to our ancestral home. They're rebuilding, restoring what was lost." Gohan hesitated, then asked, "So, you're actually a demon?" Piccolo smirked. "Majin, technically. And while I was there, they taught me a few things." Piccolo began to power up. His ears lengthened, nails sharpened, and his energy shifted. Heavier, darker. Not evil, just unfamiliar. Gohan couldn't quite place it. Piccolo's voice dropped and his fangs sharpened. Then, without warning, he launched forward, slamming a heavy kick into Gohan's midsection. Gohan blocked, but the impact still hurled him backward. He powered up, barely reaching Super Saiyan in time to evade the follow-up. Piccolo landed behind him, then braced, pivoted, swept his legs, and launched Gohan into the air. Gohan flipped midair, fired a ki blast on the way down, and shifted into his ultimate form. Piccolo charged straight through the blast, slashing at Gohan's torso and coiling an arm around him, tight as a python, before swinging him like a blunt weapon through the trees and broken ground. It looked bad, but Gohan held focus. He reached deeper. A burst of silver light exploded from his core, vaporizing Piccolo's arm on contact. In the distance, a focused glint. Gohan's special beam cannon. Piccolo smirked, raising 2 fingers to his forehead. Goku and Vegeta clashed like titans in the skies above the Demon Realm. Below, Neva and the Namekian villagers stood frozen. Neva's light shows and magic tricks were one thing, but this was different. This was raw, unfiltered, unlike anything most of them had ever seen. The battles against Frieza on Namek and against Goma in the First Demon Realm were monumental, but they hadn't looked like this. Goku and Vegeta weren't just powerful, they moved with a precision and fluidity that felt divine, like a kind of celestial choreography honed over millennia, now embodied in these 2 fighters who not long ago were entirely mortal. Vegeta fired a relentless volley of ki blasts. Goku slipped through them with practiced ease, flipping into a handstand midair. Vegeta swept in with a low kick, nearly catching him, but Goku fired a small ki burst downward, twisting out of reach just in time. As Vegeta followed through, their eyes locked. Vegeta upright, Goku upside down. They struck at once. Their fists collided with crushing force, the impact scattering shockwaves in every direction. Both were launched backward by the collision, energy bleeding from the clash itself and from the power behind their strikes. They landed, braced, and moved again. Goku lunged forward, but Vegeta raised his hands and unleashed a pulse of invisible energy. It hit like a wall. Goku was blasted off his feet, the pressure stirring a violent sandstorm that filled the sky with debris. The pulse also scattered residual ki through the area, clouding Goku's senses and masking Vegeta's presence from his instinctive perception. Then the ki orbs returned, dozen of them streaking through the storm. Even in his Super Saiyan God form, channeling Ultra Instinct, Goku was pushed to the limit, dodging them. High above, Vegeta stood atop a plateau, arms spread. The storm raged below, lit by flashes of orbs detonating midair. He began charging a final flash. Goku zeroed in on him and started intercepting the orbs, sending them rocketing towards Vegeta. He dodged easily, never breaking focus. Goku caught more with his feet, redirecting them straight into the heart of the forming attack. The beam faltered. Goku surged into Super Saiyan Blue and countered the blast, driving it backward towards Vegeta. It looked like it might break through until Vegeta dug deeper. Buried beneath the surface, he found something. Not rage, not pride, something purer. A flicker of divine energy sparked to life. It didn't last long, but it didn't have to. His strength surged, the beam expanded, and swallowed Goku's counter, erupting outward. When the light faded, Goku was gone. Vegeta! He turned. Goku stood behind him, perched on a nearby plateau, calm and unreadable, his body surrounded by the quiet shimmer of mastered Ultra Instinct. There was no fear, not from the eldest elder, not from the youngest child. Just silence, awe, reverence. Two immortals pushing, blow by blow, to the edge of godhood. Vegeta snarled in frustration. That divine energy, he'd felt it for a moment. It had flickered, then slipped away. And now Goku was pressing the advantage. Ruthless. Every strike faster, heavier, and more exact. Vegeta couldn't respond. Just surviving it was taking everything he had. Each hit dragged him closer to a blackout. But then he found it. A spark. Steady. Stable. Something he could feed without snuffing out. The divine flame inside him surged, fused with the demonic core that made it burn hotter than ever. With a feral roar, Vegeta unleashed a wave of violent energy that exploded outward, slamming Goku into the dirt and scorching his arms. Before Goku could react, Vegeta was already there, pressing a dense white sphere of energy into his gut and detonating it. The blast carved a crater into the ground, burying Goku beneath a mound of debris. Goku clawed his way out, staggering upright and locked eyes with Vegeta. Then he dropped to his knees, clutched his stomach, and vomited. With an enthusiastic grin on his face, he gave Vegeta a thumbs up before collapsing, unconscious. With his newfound power and divine status, Frieza launched a ruthless, calculated campaign to seize absolute control of Universe 7. Not as an emperor, but as a god. No longer bound by mortal limits or galactic law, he wielded his god of destruction authority like a scalpel, erasing entire worlds that dared resist and bending the survivors into obedient tools of his rule. The Galactic Patrol fought back with everything they had, battle-tested captains, advanced fleets, and coordinated resistance across dozens of systems. But Frieza wasn't just powerful, he was untouchable. His forces, bolstered by a vast army of artificial warriors acquired through a covert collaboration with the Heaters in reviving the Big Getty Star, overwhelmed the patrol with sheer numbers and precision. The synthetic soldiers, enhanced using the salvaged remnants of OG-73, provided nearly indestructible in the field. Even when the patrol scored victories, Frieza would personally intervene, erasing fleets and fortresses in moments. Their weapons failed, their tactics collapsed, and their morale shattered. In the end, the patrol wasn't defeated by strategy or attrition, they were overwhelmed by divinity. With their command structure in ruins and their influence scattered, planetary governments were dismantled and rebuilt in Frieza's image, bound to a doctrine of absolute hierarchy. Entire species were enslaved, rewritten, or erased. The Frieza Force, reborn and merciless, became both his blade and his architects. Across the stars, statues of Frieza towered, gilded in rare metals ripped from conquered worlds. His image became inescapable, edged into temples, broadcast through shattered cities, and looped endlessly in public squares. Civilizations were overwritten, their histories twisted, their beliefs replaced with doctrine bearing his face. His voice echoed like scripture, cold, recorded, and absolute. But Frieza's ambitions didn't end with Universe 7. In the shadows of his growing empire, he deployed elite agents to scour the universe for ancient relics, arcane texts, and forbidden power. Anything that could give him an edge against the only being he feared, the Omni King. While his empire expanded outward, Frieza's obsession turned inward, toward immortality, and ultimately invulnerability. It wasn't long before he tracked down the elusive Super Dragon Balls scattered across universes 6 and 7. Summoning Super Shenron with regal arrogance, he demanded not just immortality, but absolute invulnerability. Body, soul, and essence immune to decay, destruction, or eraser. The dragon granted it, yet even as he stood invulnerable, a flicker of unease remained. He knew that no wish could protect him from the Omni King, whose casual whim could still erase him from all of existence, and so Frieza doubled down, pursuing forbidden magic, ancient knowledge, and untapped power that might one day place him above even the gods. Meanwhile, Goku and Vegeta, unwilling to let the universe fall under Frieza's rule, vanished from known space. They sought strength beyond power alone, disappearing into realms uncharted. Through punishing trials, they awakened the primal heart of the Saiyan bloodline and refined it with divine precision, fusing Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego with the raw, untamed force of Super Saiyan 4. What emerged from that crucible was not just evolution, it was something new, a power Frieza couldn't possibly anticipate. The perfect intersection of the demonic and the divine. In the forest outside Gohan's house, the fading glow of battle still lingers in the air. Leaves drift gently to the ground as two warriors stand across from each other, both powered up to their limit, both catching their breath. Piccolo straightens, eyes locked onto his student. "Train with me," he says firmly. "With the kind of power you're sitting on, I should never be able to keep up, and yet, here we are." Gohan exhales slowly, powering down as the wind stirs his hair. "I get it, Piccolo, I do, but I've got work, a family, responsibilities." Piccolo steps forward, tone sharper now. "And tomorrow is your day off, right?" He pauses, then adds, "Come, now, before you waste another second letting that strength rot." The skyline of West City glitters under the sun, towers of steel and glass casting shadows over bustling streets. We overlook Capsule Corporation, where the hum of machinery and the clatter of tools signal another long day of innovation. Inside, Bulma bends over a workstation, blue hair tied back, sparks dancing from her latest project. At her side, the Pilaf gang, now in their teenage bodies, shuffle about with mixed levels of enthusiasm. Pilaf waves a wrench like it's a royal scepter. Mai files her nails in between tasks, and Shu struggles to lift a toolbox twice his size. Pilaf puffed out his chest and waved a wrench like a royal scepter. "Fear not, Lady Bulma. With my genius and your lesser genius, this contraption will certainly be unmatched." Mai rolled her eyes, flicking her nails against the workbench. "You said the same thing about that rice cooker you blew up last week." Shu grunted as he lunged over a toolbox. "We're still finding rice in the vents. It's everywhere." Bulma let out a long sigh, tightening a bolt with quick precision. "Focus, you three. I don't need more smoke clouds in my lab. What I'm building isn't a toy. This is years of work coming together." Her eyes gleamed with determination as the machinery whirred to life. Bulma's device is no ordinary suit. Its arms and legs will reinforce her body with layered machinery, letting her strike harder and block incoming force. A shimmering barrier born from nanotech could feed on the very blasts hurled against it. On paper, it could withstand attacks at a level rivaling Gotenks at their prime. But the real secret was a time dilation module. It slowed the world itself just enough for a human to react to gods. And if we Cerberus ever caught wind of it. Mai leaned in close, her voice dropping. "Bulma, didn't we Cerberus forbid time travel?" Bulma snapped back instantly, waving her hands in a hush. "Shh! Do you want them barging in here and destroying all my work? Keep it quiet." Pilaf puffed out his chest. "Don't worry, if anyone asks, we'll say it was my idea." Shu's eyes went wide, ears flattening as he shook his head. "That makes it worse. Way worse." Bulma groaned and pinched the bridge of her nose. She knew she was on dangerous ground, but that had never stopped her before. The lab door slid open with a hiss, and Dr. Hedo waddled in proudly, rolling a bulky control console behind him. "Perfect timing, everyone. Behold, the West City Defense Force. 4 android units led by Gamma 1 himself." On the screen behind him, the androids appeared, standing tall, capes fluttering in the artificial wind. Pilaf leapt up, clapping wildly. "Yes! Justice marches on." Mai, deadpanned, arms crossed, or stumbles into another disaster. Bulma glanced up briefly, barely distracted from her work. Impressive, Hedo. Now send them out. Gamma can handle the field test." Hedo grinned ear to ear and hit a button on his console. Outside, 4 androids rocketed into the skies above West City, their jet trails streaking across the clouds. Citizens looked up in awe as Justice began its first patrol. Inside, though, Bulma returned to her console, fingers dancing over the keys, her mind fixed not on androids but on the forbidden power she was weaving into her own hands. The afternoon bell rang at Blue Hall High School in West City, the campus spilling over with students eager to escape the day's lessons. At the gates, Trunks stretched with his hands behind his head while Goten jogged to catch up, his bag slung over one shoulder. Trunks smirked, Another day down at Blue Hall, huh? Feels weird knowing we're weeks away from never coming back. Goten grinned. Speak for yourself. I'm just glad no more cram sessions. Graduation's gonna feel like freedom. Yeah, freedom and responsibility, Trunks muttered, glancing towards the city skyline. So, you up for patrol tonight? A sudden shadow swept over the schoolyard, cutting off their talk. Students craned their necks as Gamma 1 and the new patrol mech soared across the west city sky, gleaming in the sunlight. Trunks' eyes went wide. Wait, what the? Since when do we have mech squads flying around? Without hesitation, the boy shot into the sky, intercepting the formation mid-flight. Gamma, what's the deal with this? Trunks barked. Gamma 1's expression didn't change. West City Defense Initiative. 4 patrol units, 24-hour coverage. Authorized by Dr. Hedo and Capsule Corp. Capsule Corp? Trunks bristled. Mom didn't say. Gamma cut him off flatly. She did? You weren't listening. Trunks groaned. Figures. Goten pulled out his phone midair, eyes darting at the time. Well, that explains the noise. Cool robots, but I've got somewhere to be. Got a date, can't blow it off. A date? Right now? Trunks snapped, exasperated. Hey, the city's safe, those guys got it covered. Goten shot back with a grin. He gave a quick wave and rocketed off, leaving Trunks hovering awkwardly as the android patrol resumed its course. Great, Trunks muttered. Robots watching the city, Goten chasing girls, and me left here. Trunks trudged into Capsule Corp, shoving open the lab doors. Sparks flashed in the dim light. Bulma hunched over her half-finished suit as it hummed with energy. Mom, Trunks called, his voice sharp. You want to explain why Gamma and a bunch of mechs are flying patrol routes like they own the place? Bulma didn't even look up from her work. Oh, that? Dr. Hedo's program. 4 mechs led by Gamma 1, keeping West City safe. Efficient, dependable, no distractions. Trunks folded his arm. You realize that's supposed to be my job with Goten, right? The Saiyamen aren't exactly retired. Finally, Bulma lifted her visor just enough to glance at him. I know, sweetie, but you and Goten have school, dates, and hobbies. The mechs don't. Bulma pulled off her visor, her tone softening. Besides, there's something more important for you now. You're graduating from Blue Hall. It's time you start thinking bigger. I want you to step up as president of Capsule Corp. Trunks nearly tripped over his own feet. What? I just finished high school. You want me to run the biggest company on Earth? With a smile, Bulma gestured at the humming machinery around her. It's not forever. Think of it as practice. If you hate it, we'll hire someone else. But if you take it on, it gives me more time to focus on, well, all of this. Trunks stared at the half-built suit on the platform, then back at her, his jaw tightening. Mom, I don't know if I'm the guy for that. I mean, sure, I've done board meetings with you before, but sitting in the office, signing papers, running numbers, that's not me. I'm a fighter. I'm supposed to be out there protecting people, not locked behind a desk. Bulma raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? Because last I checked, your fighting mostly involves showing off with Goten until he ditches you for some girl. West City doesn't need another superhero in spandex. It needs someone who can actually lead. That's not fair, Trunks shot back, bristling. I've been training. I've been helping. Just because Goten's distracted doesn't mean I'm not serious. I know you're serious, Bulma replied, calmer but now firm. That's why I'm asking you. Being president isn't about giving up fighting. It's about proving you can do more than that. You've got the brains, the name, and the heart for it. Capsule Corp doesn't just need another executive, it needs you. Think of it as protecting the company the way you've protected the city. Trunks rubbed the back of his neck, conflicted. His eyes drifted back to the glowing prototype, its light flickering across his face. I don't know if I'd be good at this, he admitted through clenched teeth. But fine, I'll try it. Just don't expect me to start wearing a suit every day. Bulma grinned. That's my boy. You'll look great in a tie. Who knows, maybe you'll learn to love it more than battle armor. Trunks groaned and dragged a hand down his face, already regretting it. The Demon Realm sky crackled with red lightning as Goku and Vegeta, battered from days of brutal training, stood before the assembled Dragon Balls. The orbs pulsed with a sinister light, their demonic energy heavy enough to make even the air taste bitter. With a guttural chant, the great dragon Purunga rose, his serpentine form twisting into the void above. The Saiyans shouted their wish in unison. Tell us where Frieza is. Never translated it to ancient Namekian tongue. Purunga's eyes flared, and the answers echoed across the realm like a curse. Frieza's location revealed at last. As Purunga vanished back into the void, Goku and Vegeta turned to Neva and Elder Mori. The Demon Realm forest they had trained in loomed behind them, its branches dripping with shadows thicker than night. Neva crossed his arms, his tone steady. The forest tests more than strength. It drags demonic power out of you while smothering anything divine. Most mortals would have gone mad in minutes. Goku scratched the back of his head and laughed lightly. Vegeta scowled, arms folded tight across his chest. Lucky I was there to stop you, otherwise you'd have torn through the entire forest like some mindless beast. I guess I kinda did, huh? The memory clung to them both. The forest's twisted beast had been nothing. Mere warm-ups crushed with ease. But then came the nightmare, a shape without form, an inky void that slithered into their minds. Goku had lunged at it only to have his will collapse under its manipulative whispers. His eyes had gone blank, fists slashing at everything in sight, even Vegeta. You nearly killed us both, Kakarot, Vegeta muttered through gritted teeth. With the training ground behind them, the two Saiyans returned to their ship. Elder Mori and Neva watched from the ridge as the vessel powered up. Few outsiders survived the forest, Mori said gravely. Fewer still walk away stronger. Those two are something else. Goku waved enthusiastically out the hatch, while Vegeta gave only a curt nod. Arms folded tight. The vessel cut across the Demon Realm sky, nose tilted toward the coordinates Peruga had given them. Inside the cockpit, the air was heavy. Somewhere out there, Frieza was waiting. Not as the tyrant they once knew, but as a god who had torn down Beerus and stolen his throne. The battlefield beneath the throne was little more than a graveyard. Blackened husks of cities clouded a sky thick with smoke, their spires shattered and burning. At the center floated Frieza, pristine as ever, not a fleck of ash daring to touch him. Around him, the twisted metal of his machines gleamed, their armor unscathed. The warriors of this world had hurled themselves into the fight with every ounce of pride they had left, yet not a scratch marked Frieza's army. Suspended before him, the king of the planet groaned weakly, his body bound by an invisible grip. Frieza raised a single finger, a thin crimson beam lancing downward, pressing into the king's chest like a cruel spotlight. "You see," Frieza purred, his voice dripping mockery. "Resistance isn't noble, it's boring. Watching you people fight back when you've already lost is positively embarrassing." The king's body quivered against the beam, flesh searing, his roar choking down to a whimper. Frieza tilted his head, feigning sympathy, then twisted his claw ever so slightly. The beam cut straight through, and in a blink the warrior king crumbled into dust, scattering through the choking wind. Frieza exhaled like an artist finishing a brushstroke. He basked in the silence, the weight of a culture annihilated in a single gesture. His golden eyes gleamed as he admired the desolation. Perfection. A cruel smile crossed his lips. And then he felt it. Two sparks, distant yet undeniable. The air itself seemed to shiver, the kind of pressure that only Saiyans carried with them. Frieza closed his eyes for just a moment, savoring the familiar taste of their ki. His smile widened. So, they've finally come.